Hello everyone and welcome back to Ouro and the Amazing Technicolor Dream Waifus.
If their Technicolor was one color, gold.
At any rate, in the last episode, well, Sylvie knows who Ria is.
Mm-hmm.
And now chaos.
And I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Not that part.
No, not that particular part, but about other things.
Yeah.
We somehow managed to calm Sylvie down and brought her somewhere out of the public eye.
みんな追い払ってきた。助かります。いえいえ。あ、ラムネもらうね。
Oh, you should have done the bit in this episode.
A woman of taste. Sure.
Reina was so overly familiar with my place that she immediately opened up the fridge the second she walked into the room. Ella-san aside, I wasn't sure what point there was to her being here.
Soma-kun.
Ria's never going to be able to get rid of her now.
Nope.
はいはい。くっつくな、暑苦しい。ああ、冷たい。そういうクールなところも素敵よ。はぁ。
Not that it mattered at the moment, since this was a far bigger issue.
もう、オーロったらどうして教えてくれなかったの？
The small one told me not to.
I'll only say this now that everything's played out this way, but she asked me not to tell you. Don't blame me.
相馬くんはどうして？このままフェードアウトした方がいいと思ったの。お姫様の人生からはな。
That's cold.
俺みたいなタバコスパスパがそばにいると、やっぱまずいんだろ。
Ella sounds like yes, yes.
以前お会いしたとき、もっと強く止めるべきでした。
You were right.
そういうわけ。
You called that. You were 100% on point with that.
もう、そんなの気にしなくていいのに。ほら、こっちに来て、相馬くん。隠れてた分、愛のスリスリを受けてもらうわよ。いや、大好きよ、相馬くん。
Right in the corner with the frickin' phone.
Yep.
That's a bad idea, though. Ella-san's gonna have to confiscate and destroy that now.
だからシルビー様、喫煙動向より今の方が危険です。おやめください。
I think it's a little late for that, considering I think most of the dorm saw her just covering Ria with kisses in the last episode.
妃殿、なんで撮った今？高値で売れそうだなと。
You know, good call.
柔らかい、いい匂い。
If nothing else, she can use it for a favor later.
いい匂いじゃねえだろ、やに臭くて。っていうか、こら、変なとこ触ってる。
Oh yeah, I guess her hand is in kind of an odd place. Also, why does her hand look so much tinier than Ria's?
Huh, yeah.
Little dinosaur hands.
ってなんでてめえは黙って見てるんだよ。
I actually rather like girls' love, so there's no way I'd tell you to stop.
言うな。写真を渡しなさい、妃。やだね。うちのパソに転送しちゃった。パソ？転送？よくわかりませんが。
She uploaded it to the cloud.
ほら、渡して。
Tug.
エッチ。
You know, there's a coincidentally high concentration of lyrical waves over here, too.
男ってバカしかいねえ。
Well, I won't argue that.
Well, you know.
ほら、
yeah.
もういいだろ。ああ。たく、俺が言うのもなんだけど、キャラ変わったぞ、シルビー。昔はもっとおとなしかった。
You know, that's probably true.
そうね。相馬くんと一との楽しい思い出が変えてくれたの。
Oh, so you're saying this is our fault?
たく。
相馬くんは変わってないわ。
Huh? I remember her being quieter back then too.
それはそうね。当時はいたずらっ子だったイチの戒め役って感じで。でも優しいところはちっとも変わってない。
Sylvie reached out her hand with a great big grin. Ria became a total pushover the moment Sylvie touched her cheek. She would accept whatever happened to her. Maybe this side of her really was gentle. Then Sylvie suddenly moved her hand from Ria's cheek to her hair and to the nape of her neck.
まだ使ってくれてるのね。
お気に入りだからな。
Oh, I wonder if it's the chain. I wonder what she meant? Ah, the pendant from before? Oh, yeah, there was something about that pendant I'd been curious about for the longest time.
Hey, Sylvie, I'm all for female, romance, so I'll stay calm no matter how you answer this. But tell me, was Ria your first love?
The box in the background just explodes.
But based on how you're acting, you knew she was a woman?
For what it was worth, they were supposed to have both taken part in an accessory making activity just for women while we were at camp.
Which would mean...
My wildest ideas jumped straight to conclusions.
安心しろ。俺らどっちもレズじゃないから。
I see. Partially disappointed, but partially relieved.
ああ、そういうこと。もう、やめてよ、オーラ。私たちそんなんじゃないわ。
Ah, Sylvie, innocent as always.
よかった。最初は男の子だと思っていたけど、ちゃんと教えてもらったわ。女の子だって。
Huh, that's how it went.
お前にも何度か教えたんだけどな。何回言っても冗談だと思って聞き流されたけど。
I mean, we're dense. I'm sorry.
それでもこれは、私にとって初恋の思い出なの。
Sylvie fished through her pocket and pulled out that golden ring. As she pet it dearly, as if it brought back some memory, she looked at me.
Hmm?
それはいいとして。
I bet she didn't want Sylvie bringing any of this up. Ellison stopped the subject short.
相馬リア殿ですね。うん。
She stared straight at Ria. And then she seemed to have come to some sort of understanding.
なるほど。よーく見ると顔の作りは全く同じですね。髪は色も長さも全然違いますが。
Hmm?
She is the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, I think she, figured it out in about 2 seconds.
Wow, she didn't even need her scouter. She gave a less than pleased scowl after Ellison said something to her.
鋭いな。見て分かったやつは初めてだわ。私ではありません。シルビー様が絶対そうだとおっしゃるので。
Oh, okay, never mind.
ああ、納得。
相馬くんを私が見間違うわけないじゃない。
何のこと？
あのね。
待てシルビー。それシークレット。
あ、そうなの。じゃあ、ごめんなさい、レイナ。言えないわ。
Hmm? What was she talking about?
では、ここでこの話題は避けますが。お話があります。シルビー様たっての希望で、後でお時間をお願いします。ご本人直撃は受け付けてねえんだけどな。特別だぞ。恐縮です。
This all went over my head.
You know, that technically could be Like the summary of the game.
Yeah, it really could.
びっくりしたよ。リアちゃんまでシルビーと繋がってたなんて。
What are the odds?
Sylvie, Ria, and I all became connected at the same time, to be exact.
You know, kind of like you, Joe Kosaki, and I became connected all at the same time in your route. 3 childhood friends reunited 10 years later in the same place, and all by sheer coincidence. It was nothing short of a miracle, if you ask me. Hamamatsu Lake had its fair share of romantic anecdotes, but this one was impressive enough that I'd love to add it to the collection.
あと嬉しいよ。リアちゃんとは仲良くしたかったんだけど、とっかかりがなくてさ。この機会にバディになろうぜ。イエーイイエーイ
Enthusiasm. She wagged her fist about.
こいつはどういうテンション？
She's made up of 99% good intentions and like 1% practical jokes. A good person at her core. I'd recommend her as a friend.
ふーん。ま、ダチなんていらねえけど、仲良くしようって来るのを追い返す趣味もない。
I think that might be the same thing for you.
友達。
The way everything was summed up for every ounce of bitterness ignored left Ria at a bit of a loss. This went for Sylvie too, but she had a real soft spot for good girls.
友達という言葉が適切かはわかりませんが、私もシルビー様に付き従うゆえ、今後は懇意にさせていただくこととなります。よろしく。
This one went directly for the handshake. And Ria reciprocated.
悪癖はやめられませんか？健康に関してもあなたの境遇に関しても百害あって一理なしです。やめら。
She meant her smoking?
うるせえな。説教すんな。
Ria turned huffy, as if to put her true twisted nature on full display. But...
そうですか。すいません、口うるさいことを。しかし、シルビー様のご盟友が誤った行いをしているなら大変残念です。口出しをできる立場ではないが、私はとても悲しい。とても残念です。
Okay, now this is interesting, getting to see some guilt tripping from Ella-san. Did not expect that. Did not know she was capable of that. Maybe we would have known that if we had played through her route.
こいつは
She's made up of more good intentions than Reina.
くそ。
That's how I feel.
しょぼーん。気をつけるって、やめるとは言わないけど。
十分です。
Ria had it rough, but it looked like she had a soft spot for good people. You know, this seemed like my chance.
Finally, Ichimatsu Oro.
Huh?
I mean, we're already pals, but I'll say this outright. Let's be friends.
She just says, "Get out." But this is our room. Don't care. Get out. I went in for the handshake. Ria tilted her head.
わけわかんねえ。
Slap. She turned the handshake down.
てめえとはもうダチだろ。
Yeah, we are.
She gave me the response I wanted. Maybe I'd been too sensitive over not seeing each other for a couple of days? Oh well. I guess I just considered her that important of a presence in my life.
じゃあ、相馬くん、クリスマスよろしくね。はぁ、めんどくせえ。 お願い。昔約束したでしょ？覚えてるわよね。絶対音感同盟。いつか私がピアノを覚えたら、相馬くんは得意な歌で合わせてくれるの。二人でオーロに聞かせてあげるって約束だったじゃない。
その約束は多分聞かされるやつが忘れてるんだが。
That's correct.
かもね。でも、私たちは覚えてるわ。
はいはい。
1に続いて相馬くんまで。私って本当に運がいいわ。
さすがに偶然にしても怖くなるヒントです。仕事の面から見れば助かりましたね。龍蔵寺といらぬ折衝を行わずとも、ご本人とコンタクトが取れてしまうとは。
I like how at this point they're all kind of talking about, oh man, this is weirdly coincidental. It's just like, haha, meta joke. Haha, haha. Yes, we get it.
相馬くんとまた会えたのも嬉しいけど、これでいつでもマリア・ビショップに接触できるってことでもあるのよね。ほんともう最高。お姉様。あらみな、今日はありがとう。お仕事を代わってくれて。いえ、それより、彼女、昨日のこと。ああ、お話は聞いたわ。相馬くん、怒鳴ったから妹が怯えてるかもって気にしていたわ。怒鳴られたのは私のミスです。私のこと、何と言っておりました？特には、私の可愛い妹だってことは伝えておいたから、いつまでも尾は引かないと思うわ。そう。触ったんですって？驚いたでしょ？でも、触れないであげてね。あれはオーロにも隠していることだから。はい。本当にもう一度会えてよかった。もう二度と会えないって思ってた。そう本人に言われてたから。もう一度会えて、お話できて、声が聞けてよかった。本当は、もう二度と会えないはずだったんだから。
Ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Not thrilled about these transitions.
So I think I'm right. Except, it started a long time ago. Because otherwise Sylvie wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And said all of that stuff. A party? On Christmas?
うちの領事館で。
学園の連中を集めてだとさ。お姫様のやることはスケールが違うよな。
I know. They keep talking about Christmas so much it feels more like Groundhog Day. After school, Ria came over to my place now that the school roof was officially blocked off. Wait, couldn't we just use Sylvie's royal cheat powers to get back on the roof?
Probably.
I mean, if nothing else, she could just kind of para-drop us on there.
True.
Sylvie, of course...
We just repel from the helicopter like special forces.
I mean... And then we have an exit ride.
Mm-hmm.
And no one would suspect a thing. I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, but I don't think they do anything.
Probably not. Sylvie, of course, was the one who invited her. The timing had apparently worked out perfectly to me. She was constantly busy with work, but she was able to make time today. And naturally, I wasn't opposed to offering a meeting place. Which brought us to this conversation.
ねえ、オーラも来てくれるわよね。
Gee, let me check my schedule. Yeah, I got nothing.
Alright, I've got time between hate Jogasaki and watch the porn in the box. Alright.
Porn box, oh porn box.
That's tough to answer when it's still a month off.
予定ねえだろ？
I was about to say, he has nothing.
Oh, but he's probably trying to play it off like, I'm such a busy guy.
I don't.
It was Christmas, but I didn't have plans nor a girlfriend to spend it with.
But you can't deny the possibility I might end up with plans in a month, don't you think? I'm not sure I can make any promises yet, especially since there's a chance I might find someone to spend Christmas with in the next month.
そうなんだ。残念。
めんどくせこいつ。
Shut up. The odds of me finding a girlfriend are, they're not awful.
They're not zero.
彼女できたとして、一緒に来るには最高なロケーションじゃねえか。領事館パーティー。
Good point. But I still dislike the idea of saying, well, I'll go since I have no Christmas plans right now as a matter of pride.
はぁ。
We have no memory, but boy, we have pride in spades. I don't know where it comes from.
シルビー。
Yeah, good point.
こいつにパーティーにはどんなゲストが出るか言ってやれ。
でもさあね。
Hmm? Sylvie was momentarily confused by Ria's suggestion, but then she got an impish grin on her face for some reason. A guest.
あのマリア・ビショップをキャスティングできたの。
For real?
私も大好きだもの。オールは来ないの？オールもファンのはずよね。ちなみにソーマくんは来ると約束したわ。
Who cares about that? Maria Bishop will be there.
I'll definitely go. I'll be there. I'll save a seat for me.
はーい。
The two of them were grinning in the oddest way for whatever reason. It bugged me somewhat, but that wasn't most important.
Are you serious? I'll seriously get to see Maria live? Will she sing?
もちろん。
つか歌オンリーな。一曲歌ってすぐ帰る。
トークは？
やだよ。やだと思うマリア・ビショップは。そうだよな、ファンの目から見て。
Nice save.
Definitely. She never does chat with the audience.
Wait a minute, Ria, how did you know that? I thought you hated Maria Bishop. That was her persona. I knew every single program she'd appeared on, so you knew it was true if I said it. Although from what I had seen of her in person, she enjoyed conversation more than you'd expect. Her laid-back personality seemed like an extension of her performance skills.
Even then, it's fine. I can't wait. I wonder if she'll remember me. I told you we met the other day, didn't I? I touched her. Maria totally touched me. I haven't washed the hand since.
I was wondering what that smell was.
さあ。
そんなにマリア・ビショップに触られると嬉しいんだ。
Of course.
それは素晴らしい。よかったな、イチ。記念に握手してくれ。
Sure.
Glench. I held her hand.
What's with this?
いいじゃん。お前がマリア・ビショップにタッチできた記念だよ。
Oh, man.
That's right. It was the best moment that may or may not happen in an entire lifetime.
I like how she's just blatantly fucking with us at this point.
Her and Sylvie too a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Except for Sylvie's being Jimmy Fallon in this situation. She can't keep the straight face.
Why are you smirking so much, Sylvie?
なんでもないわ。ニヤニヤなんてしてないわ。
I didn't get it.
でも、約束が果たせるのが嬉しいわね。
Promise?
俺とシルビーの共通点、覚えてるか？
In common?
It's me. It's not me. If I had to say...
You're both gorgeous?
Ooh, okay. Good answer.
いやん。
そういううざいのはいい。
You both have extraordinary figure? I guess that one's not right.
Ooh, bad answer.
そうね。私と相馬くんじゃ背の高さから何から違うわ。
だな。んで、てめえが今スタイル抜群を取り下げた理由を聞こうか。ちなみにシルビーは俺から見てスタイル抜群だ。
We'd be scared, but we know you can't punch hard.
Yeah, but you remember she kicked the shit out of us
That is
on
true.
the roof that one time?
That is true. You are right.
Sorry.
Aside from that...
Your hair color?
それは、
共通点だな。
共通点ね。
This is turning into an episode of Blue's Clues, but we are not good at it.
Look, we're Ichimatsu Oro.
Yeah.
We're not good at a lot of things.
It's true.
Like grades.
Yeah. The two of them shared another knowing smirk. What's their deal? A natural blonde and a dyed blonde were clearly different.
でもそういう外見的なのじゃねえよ。探すな。特にシルビーと並べて、比べられると嫌だわ。
You both have skeletons inside of you? I don't know.
Carbon-based life forms?
You both bleed red? Wait, hang on a second. I've got a knife here somewhere.
Sorry.
Most women would undoubtedly hate to be compared to such an outwardly flawless princess. But then I thought Ria was plenty cute. Cute enough, in fact, to hold her own with Sylvie.
If you don't want to be compared, then just tell me the answer. What do you have in common?
はぁ。
Ria let out a huge snide sigh.
ほらな。やっぱり忘れてた。
みたいね。オーロらしいわ。
Yep.
Mm.
They shared a smirk almost like this was what they had expected. Bam. They kicked the table. What was going on now?
ミのフラット。
ミのフラット。
Then came commentary I didn't fully understand. Oh, but they had just... I, unshockingly, didn't have the ability to confirm, but if they had made such a big show of it, it had to be...
Perfect pitch?
生まれつきな。
Wow.
よかった。オーロ、もう絶対音感がどんなものかは知ってるみたいね。
昔は何回説明してもさっぱりだったもんな。
Well, we don't have perfect pitch. We can just catch perfect pitches.
Oh, I was gonna make that joke. I was just figuring out how I was gonna do it. If I was gonna reference Torio or if I was gonna...
Sorry, I just went for it.
最後は、特定の音波を出して敵を攻撃する能力者みたく思ってたっけ。
And that's why we and Reina got along so well.
Like I could help it. This was a decade ago.
I didn't remember this, but when a kid heard a stylish-sounding term like perfect pitch, my first thought must have been that it was some kind of superpower.
結局オーロには分かってもらえなかったけれど、私たちが音に強いということは分かってくれて、 それで私たちに言ってくれたのよ。音楽を始めろ。将来上手くなったら俺に聞かせてくれって。私がピアノを始めた発端だったわ。
For real?
I didn't remember any of this. But if that was true...
天才ピアニスト、シルビア王女の原点は、お前の無責任な発言ってこった。
I felt so strange. Like I'd messed up and then done awesome all in one.
Wow. I'm shocked. But you don't perform music, do you, Ria?
お
I mean, what the heck? You're so cold-hearted. You could leverage your perfect pitch and let me hear some impressive musical performance too.
うぜえ。
That also has not changed.
And here, Sylvie worked so hard.
はいはい。後でカスタネットでもうんたんしてやるよ、うるせえな。
Sorry.
It was an irresponsible verbal agreement, and it would have been fine if they hadn't followed through.
もう言っちゃえばいいのに。
Huh?
And ruin the surprise? Nah.
なんでもないわ。それより相馬くん、そのカスタネットでうんたんはいつ頃聞かせてくれるの？
I'm surprisingly curious too. I'd love to see you say untan.
うるせえ。
The three of us could rattle on forever and never get sick of talking. Of course, it was the same when I was alone with Sylvie or Ria too. Childhood friends were a wondrous thing, even after we'd been apart for a decade. It always reminded me of how things were between us in those days. In those days,
いち、相馬くん。
いち。
we had only been together for a few days. I had largely forgotten how we'd spent our time together. But the one detail I remembered vividly was that it had been fun. The fun times we'd shared had forever left that impression on me. Still, it was strange. Every day together had been so much fun. But at the end, I felt like something horribly shocking had happened. As we found ourselves in the 12th month of the year, winter truly felt like it had arrived. Mainly due to the temperature.
So this is unrelated to anything.
Yes.
When it said 12th month of the year, I had to think of what it is. Not because I use multiple calendars, but because, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves with the Western calendar, the fact that every month after a certain point indicates what number it is, but that number is wrong, and that annoys me to no end.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome to October, the 10th month of the year, just like an octopus has 10 legs.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the guy that came up with it got stabbed.
You know what makes me feel good?
Okay.
Too cold.
こんな時こそ魂を燃やすんですよ。ほら、先輩、ファイヤー、ファイヤー。
All right, well, I feel like we got the summary of her route right there.
I think that's the summary of her whole personality. Radio calisthenics were plenty rough too. When?
おはようございます。
Wow, Mina's still down.
Morning, Mina-chan.
カミナルさん。
Mina-chan had revealed Ria's identity to Sylvie, but not a single part of what she had done could be called problematic. But there was one thing that bothered me. This girl, Mina-chan, she'd been depressed ever since Ria yelled at her. Maybe it would be best if I spoke with her today. I skipped radio calisthenics and had her step aside with me for a while.
Ria's not worried about what happened anymore.
存じております。お姉様から聞きましたし、ご本人にも言われましたわ。
Oh, you saw her?
ええ。彼女がお姉様とディナーをなさった日に、ちょうど私も居合わせまして。
Wait, they had dinner together and I wasn't invited? What the hell?
It probably was at the, what do you call it? Consulate.
Yeah, I know, I was making a joke. Sylvie and Ria had gotten together without me at some point since the three of us just met up. Nah, two girls getting together was fine, but it made me feel kind of lonely. You see? I was right.
Mm-hmm.
私の無礼は許していただきました。ただ気落ちしているのは、無礼ではなく、私自身の問題ですわ。
Huh? I wasn't entirely sure what she meant, but her eyebrows were furrowed.
怖いと思ってしまいました。普段は慰問だなんだと偉そうにしておいて、所詮、あらかじめ知らされなければ、あんなにも慌てふためいてしまう女ですわ、私。
Okay, now that is a foreboding statement if ever I've heard one.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is, like, basically confirmed at this point.
好感度稼ぎのようだと。私のは本当にただの好感度稼ぎやもしれませんわ。自分が嫌になる。
What do you mean?
This was all too abstract for me to wrap my head around. After a brief wry grin from Mina-chan.
ねえ、市松さん。
What?
Oh shit, you know it's serious when she uses our name.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to calling me plebeian like usual?
私は彼女、相馬さんの前で、かっこつけていられませんでしたわ。情けないことに、これからもできる気がしない。必ずこの自分の中の弱さが出てしまって、それを見透かされてしまうと思う。あなたは彼女の前では、かっこよくいてください。できるかどうかはいい。かっこつけていてくださいな。ミナが？
Yeah. She was acting kind of weird.
As a side note, it's interesting to see other characters kind of filling in for the role that Ria has been filling in the other routes we've done.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this, it's in this case, it seems like it's mostly Mina that's kind of filling in for the role that she had played when we were doing Sylvie's route and Reina's route.
Yeah, it really is.
It makes sense, because obviously she can't be our Jiminy Cricket and love interest at the same time.
Exactly.
そう。ミナのことは気にしなくていいわ。ちょっとナイーブになってるだけだから。私は10年前に乗り越えたことだけど、ミナは今みたいね。大人になるいい機会だわ。人間誰しも訪れることだもの。
Just come out with it, Sylvie. Tell me what's going on here. What's wrong with Ria?
I wasn't dumb enough that this point had eluded me. Mina-chan was shocked by something she learned about Ria. The only issue was that I didn't know what that was.
ごめんなさい。私からは言えないわ。相馬くんが望んでないもの。
Yeah, that does make sense.
相馬くんに聞いて。
Sylvie coldly pushed me away and turned back to the piano. Pushed me away? That wasn't right. It wasn't that she pushed me away. Sylvie just felt distant. Like she wanted to put space between us to gloss over something she so desperately wanted to tell me.
ねえ、オーロ。私はオーロが大好きだし、相馬くんが大好きよ。そしてまた、愛されてる自信もあるわ。相馬くんもあなたも、私のことが大好きだって。
Yeah, I did love her.
だから相馬くんも同じだと思うの。相馬くんはオーロのこと大好きだわ。ね？だって、オーロは相馬くんが大好きでしょ？
屋上ってまだ閉められてる？
Yeah, still is.
When I came back, I found Ria wearing her school uniform. She must have planned to go to the academy, which had to mean she intended to go up to the roof. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be.
はあ、なんで俺あの時タバコ落としたんだろう。
Well, actually, the biggest issue is that you were smoking at all.
Yeah, consider this like divine providence that you should quit.
知ってる。
So you agree? Ria sat on the bed in an accustomed fashion. I wanted to ask. I wanted to jump up and ask what had scared Mina-chan. But my hesitation won out. First and foremost, I doubted she'd even tell me. Assume I were to ask, what startled Mina-chan so much the other day? Ria would likely tell me to shut up, ignore me, or play it off with some joke. Secondly, I didn't want to tick her off. She had gotten so angry back then, and it was undoubtedly something Ria didn't want anyone to know, so I didn't feel like I should pry. And thirdly, I was scared. I was terrified. If I found out, our relationship might never be the same. These days, I considered her my best friend. She was different from Torio, Reina, the guys in class, and even Sylvie. I felt like the girl named Soma-Ria would slip away from me.
イチ？どうした？
Nothing.
She noticed I was spacing out. Ria peeked dubiously over at me.
I was wondering what I should do for dinner tonight.
I played it off with whatever idea I could come up with.
What are you planning to have tonight?
適当に冷凍かな。
Hey now.
冷凍バカにすんなよ。最近のやつって少なくともファミレスとかよりははるかにうまいぞ。待ってろ。
She headed out for a second. She came back with several bags in hand.
今日は教育がてら、お前に冷凍食品の世界を教えてやる。
Alright, frozen dinner party.
I guess I know what I'm having for dinner then.
That was frozen food for you. It was ready to go in no time flat. But...
Fried onigiri? Are you for real?
Here I wondered what earth-shattering items she'd offer up, and the first thing to come out was fried onigiri of all things.
信頼しろ。これはガチで店が開けるレベルにうまい。
I'm sure somebody has.
I mean, sure, I doubt there's any fried onigiri that's actually all that bad.
It was delicious when I gave it a taste. Crispy on the outside with an incredibly rich soy sauce aroma that ran through your nose. But it was still fried onigiri. As that thought went through my mind,
イチ、覚えてる？
probably not.
I remember it just now.
一緒に食べたよな。あの日も。
Right. I had forgotten any of the details. But I did remember that we'd eaten these at camp.
Hang on a second, that wasn't fried onigiri.
そう。飯盒の焦げた飯。醤油塗ってさらに焦がして、外側の焦げを適度に落とすとうまい。あのキャンプで得た一番の教訓だったわ。
Charred rice. If you were going to reproduce it, I guess fried onigiri worked best. It was scrumptious. Oh yeah.
You know, we spent lots of time together without Sylvie too, didn't we?
なしでもっていうか、シルビーがいなかった時間の方が長えよ。誰かさんはお姫様にデレデレして、そこ以外の記憶放棄したみたいだけど。
That was right. I met Ria, Soma, quite some time before we ever met Sylvie. It was only after Soma and I had become good friends did Sylvie get added into the mix. Wow, and we totally forgot. We're terrible. I did have a perverted spirit, and that just showed how big of an impact she had left on me. Even as a child. Yikes. Oh? But when I tried to jog my memory, Soma's face...
ごっそさん。まだなんか食う？
Well, nah, no thanks. I'm full.
I ate way too much fried onigiri while I went down the ride of memory lane.
じゃあ今日の講義はここまで。これがベストだけど、これ以外もうまい冷凍は多いから、今度改めて教えてやる。
Ria tossed the leftovers into my freezer. I was happy she had automatically arranged for a next time. Drowsiness must have set in now that she'd eaten, and Ria let out a tiny yawn. But she didn't look like she was in the mood to leave yet and flopped back down on my bed. I don't want to do anything was written on her face. She had been acting pretty low energy all day.
Wanna watch another movie or something?
そうする。
Better just spend some quiet time together. We'd watched a movie together back in October too, but it was far chillier now than back then. We sat on the sofa with a thin sheet draped over us.
You're not cold?
まだちょっと寒い。
Then? What do you want to watch?
静かなやつ。
Well, okay then. We have,
I flipped through the options. But then, I didn't have too many quiet movies on hand since I generally preferred more intense flicks. I had some scenery-centric ones, but Ria wouldn't go along with those. As a side note, is this really a good way to keep us warm? I feel like it's just kind of... I don't know. It looks like we tried to build a fort and didn't succeed.
it would technically work.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
あ、それ。 それいい。
One in particular caught her interest while I was randomly scrolling through. I stopped where I was. Wait, wasn't this... why not? If she said so, we could go with this one. It was a French film. I had to agree that softly spoken, hard to make out French fit the peaceful movie requirement to a T. The only problem...
なあ、セックスしてる？
Yep.
As far as this movie went, it wasn't actually that peaceful. The opening was peaceful while it followed the protagonist's carefree, solitary journey chasing the sights. But then, midway through, the protagonist started to strip all of the women he had ensnared. I'm sure you could piece this together, but...
うわ、でかいおっぱい。
I'm grateful.
No shame.
なあ、これもしかしてこの前見たやつ？
You didn't notice?
Oh, this we remember. It was indeed the same movie I had watched with Ria before. The horn dog protagonist spends the start of the film screwing as many women as he can get his hands on, but then falls for the main heroine by the halfway point, who then up and dies.
何選んでんだよ。セックスばっかだな、お前。
That's what the phallic box stack says.
You're the one who picked it.
それもそうか。
Want me to put on something else?
いいよ。今更一から見るのはめんどい。
Agreed. The movie had its lively moments, but went back to being peaceful toward the end. Better just wait for it.
にしても、フランス語ってほんと判別できねえな。
Yeah, I've seen this movie twice now, and all I can remember is hearing that older lady's heavy breathing.
あー、この鶏みたいな喘ぎ方覚えてる。
I want to hear the sound clip. I want to hear the chicken.
でもセリフは全然。フランス人や津軽の人って大丈夫かな？こんな言葉で意思疎通できてんのかな？
You're gonna upset the French and people from Aomori.
You already narrowly avoided an international incident. Don't cause another one.
Wait, you didn't notice? I figured it out the second I put it on.
気づかねえよ。題名見てないし。
The footage, though, don't you remember how the scenery looked at the start, for instance?
ああ。覚えてない。
You need a certain degree of concentration when you watch movies.
はいはい。
Ria turned her attention back to the film and went back to relaxing. Almost like it were second nature, she snuggled up against me. The tiny side of her head plopped against my shoulder.
メインヒロイン、こいつだっけ？
Yeah, her introduction was pretty boring.
I hadn't realized this was the main heroine my first time had watched. I had no idea what this director had in mind, but I wish they had directed in a way that was a little easier to understand. Despite being the main heroine, she was introduced with the exact same direction as all of the other women the protagonist had one-night stands with.
But maybe that's why it feels kinda different when you watch it a second time.
こいつと恋に落ちるんだなーって思うと、確かになんか違うかも。
Everything the protagonist did made it seem like he really was going to hit it and quit it when it came to the main heroine, but his reasoning made more sense the second time around. How strange.
キスしてる？
When you look closely, this is actually the first time this pervy protagonist hasn't stuck his tongue in.
Of course we noticed that.
真実の愛を下のあるなしで描くなよ。 たく。でもこいつ、この時点で完全にこの女にハマってるんだよな。
Definitely.
The scenes kept transitioning. Sex with the heroine came to a straightforward end, and then there was the next day, she was gone. Even as the protagonist pursued her, he was coldly avoided. That was when the protagonist lost his cool. Oh? This part kind of reminded me how things went when I couldn't see Ria for a while. We couldn't meet up since the rooftop got locked off, and it felt like our connection had been severed all too suddenly. I seemed pretty thrown off at the time, too.
あ、またキスした。
Yeah.
The reunion was well in progress on the screen. They were sharing an intense kiss.
キスってさ、
Mm-hmm.
どんな感じ？
As if I'd know, why ask me?
ああ、じゃあ経験はないと。
No. Shut up.
なんで怒るんだよ。
Because I don't have any experience, shut up.
I'm not mad.
怒ってんじゃん。
It wasn't that I was mad. My speech just turned gruff out of embarrassment. Since I had just wondered what kisses were like at this very moment myself.
The way I imagine it, they're no big deal, I'd assume.
同感。してみる？
Okay.
No, why?
Why not?
いや、大したことないんだし。
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Yeah, it wasn't like they were. Even if it wasn't reason enough to go out and do it, they weren't a big deal. Ria flitted a glance over at me. Her eyes met mine, then quickly turned away. Oh? What was this adorable reaction about? Timidly, Ria looked my way again. Hang on a second. Don't look at me. If you stare at me with that adorable face right now, an accident might just happen.
た、大したことないな。
Yeah, you said it.
My mind went blank, and I was too up in the clouds to know what I might be saying. What in the world were we doing? This didn't feel like something friends were allowed to do. All the thoughts on my mind vanished into the sensation of those comfortable lips in the next instant. They were soft, felt wonderful. I knew this was wrong, and yet to not do this was no longer an option.
Ria.
Ria was especially aggressive and rubbed her mouth forcefully against mine. I reciprocated and began pressing back. It was forceful enough that it might even crush her fragile body, but I hugged her tightly all the same. Ria's hair dangled down heavily and rubbed against my cheek. It was in the way. Better brush it aside. Slide. Brush.
What?
She backed off out of nowhere. Ria broke free from my hand that held her and ran away from me. And with that, I promptly regained my composure. What were we doing? Why did it turn out this way?
帰るわ。
Sure.
Ria left the room without even finishing the movie. What had I done? I went limp and slumped down into my bed. In the movie, the protagonist whispered lovingly into the main heroine's ear after she passed on. Just now, I was probably trying to do this, wasn't I? I had found something within me. It came as a decent shock that I had looked at Ria that way, at someone who I thought was just a friend, and it left me feeling numb for the rest of the day. I couldn't chase after or patch things up with her. I didn't know how to process these feelings or verbalize what it meant for our relationship. Or even to consider what that sensation had been. Okay, so that's probably a good place to stop.
Yeah. So, effectively, I think our theory was confirmed.
Yeah, I think so at this point.
And it does explain a lot, actually.
It does. Yeah.
You remember when she was talking about why she wanted us and Sylvie to get married, like, really quickly?
Yeah. Yeah, and we had been speculating it was because she had the intention of retiring, but
Yes.
it seems this is probably the underlying reason as to why she was both going to be retiring and trying to get us together with Sylvie.
Yeah, like, and it makes sense why she would have this goal.
Right. Yeah.
Her, like, entire life. Like, her goal is to ship us and Sylvie because it is her two friends and she wants to see that.
Yeah, she wants to see that happen before she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know that I was mentally prepared for that going into this route, but I guess that's the ride we're on.
If that's really what's happening, and it looks like it is, and if it leads where I think it is, I was not at all ready for this. Because, like, literally the entire game is like, oh, hey, isn't it funny? You have maybe one half-dramatic scene a route, and that's it. There's blonde waifus, and there's Akane with Akane burning fire kick.
Yep.
It's like, oh, cool. Everything's pretty awesome except Jogasaki. And then, like, it's like, oh, by the way.
Oh, I know. We had a whole conversation on this very topic at the end of one of Cafe Stella's episodes.
Yeah, we did. Like, it's like, oh man, I'm glad we're playing Kinkoi where nothing serious ever happens.
And then the blondes are on, and nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong.
Oh no, it all went wrong.
I know we've already made the joke, but it fits, damn it. Okay, well. And we somehow ended back on the French movie. Well, that definitely cements that in. We were talking about earlier ahead, the French movie, and it's back. Connecting the dots. In French. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed our very slow realizations of what is happening for those of you who are already familiar with this route.
And I hope you enjoy it further as we maybe get into, Yeah.
But for now, we are the Bridge Boys, signing off.